real estate's been the same for basically 100 years, right? So if you want to sell your home, you need to contact a realtor. The realtor will tell you, hey, these are the things you need to do to get ready to sell your home. And hopefully you have a great realtor like Chris, who has a lot of experience, who knows what you need to do to maximize your profit, right? But sadly, Chris knows this better than most, is that most real estate agents aren't even good enough to be a paperweight. You know, the barrier to entry to be a real estate agent here in Arizona is very low. 90 course hours. You take a state test, a federal test, a school test, and boom, you're done. You pay $1,000 in fees a year and you're groovy, right? And sadly, homeowners are very dissatisfied with what agents have done over the last couple decades because they're begging for other options, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
Doug started to offer this, direct to seller campaign of, hey, we'll buy your house with the best possible terms, but it's not going to be market value, right? And other companies have followed suit. Arizona is a breeding ground, the sandbox, if you will, for these iBuyer companies because comping homes is so simple. Most homes in Arizona are built 1970, 1980 or newer, so they can throw it in their algorithm and think that they can make a profit. But I'm sure you've seen Open Doors lost, $1.3 billion last quarter,
I
right?
don't know how Open Door stays in business, man, because they've continued. They've had one successful quarter in their existence.
Correct. And it
That's
was when
it.
the market, it is when everybody won, right?
Right. I don't get it. They're so bad. There's rumors that they're being backed by somebody in China.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
They have hedge fund money coming from somewhere.
Yeah, and they're just opening the window and throwing the money out because I don't know how they. I've sold many Open Door properties and they don't make money. Like I've sold them well below where they paid. So it's mind boggling for the consumer out there that's watching this because we're also live on YouTube, by the way. You're going to leave a ton of money on the table with an Open Door and offer a pad, and for people to think, oh, they don't charge commissions and that kind of jazz. I actually, when we moved from Chandler out here, I actually went to OfferPad and Open Door because I wanted to see their stuff. So I acted like I was just a normal everyday person. Both OfferPad and Open Door at that time were charging 6 to 8% buyer convenience fees. Boys and girls, that's a commission. That's a 6 to 8% commission. Whereas normal realtors like Dylan and myself, we can't really talk about all that kind of jazz. But there's when I list a house now, I go in and say, this is all you're gonna have to pay me. Everything else you negotiate when the buyer brings us an offer. Or the buyer's agent brings us an offer. Open Door and OfferPad are coming out of the gate saying you're paying this convenience fee. So you're paying them more typically than you would pay actually hiring somebody like me and allowing Dylan to bring a buyer in to purchase your home.
Correct. Yeah, there's no free meals, in
No,
life.
no.
Everybody wants, we'll meet with sellers that they'll say, well, my home on Zillow is worth 400 grand. I'd like
Right.
$400,000 for my home. I'd be like, cool. Like, put yourself in my shoes. What's the business model to turn a profit, right? And again, my entire pitch, the way that I like to communicate with people is education. To
Yeah.
sit there and go like, hey, let me peel back the curtain, let me help you understand, and really help us see there. That's why, to get back to it, so few real estate agents actually are really, really good, like yourself, Chris. And that's what's opened up for iBuyers.
Right.
Of, and I feel like what's happening in the marketplace with all the technology is that 10% of all the agents
Mm-hmm.
are doing all of the business.
Yeah.
You can see that now with huge, huge teams doing a bunch of volume, putting a bunch of advertising dollars behind it. How many agents have a radio show and are live on YouTube talking about real estate and their properties, right?
This is true. Yeah.
Very, very few. Whenever you're interviewing somebody, I mean, you got to be looking for somebody that puts their money where their mouth is, that has the market knowledge, that's going to be spending a lot of resources and time to be out there and actually get your home sold for sure.